And we're back. It's
We're
just like
back.
that. It's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I'm a little rusty at this actually. I was kind of like, oh, what do I need to do? But kind of slowly falling into the groove again, I guess.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, I guess tonight's not going to be your typical Wednesday night tech talk show.
No.
Tonight is going to be the not so typical aftermath of the No Name Nationals show.
Right.
Yeah. So Shane and I are going to go, well, Professor P and I are going to go over um, the good, bad, and the ugly from No Name Nationals 2024 and how things turned out. We're going to pull up some videos, which are probably your videos, and not necessarily Professor P, but I mean all the audience's videos that are posted up. And we're kind of going to go through some of the stuff that got, essentially recorded and repeat it back because well, here's the thing, Professor P and I, it's hard to film in a car when it's pretty dang fast,
And you know
so
what? I just didn't feel like filming.
I didn't either.
I had
I was
suction
trying to
cups,
give an
right?
excuse.
I could have put suction cups on the glass. I have all that stuff, but you know what? I just wanted to live it. It just,
Yeah,
I just wanted to have fun.
yeah, and before we get in the meat and potatoes of tonight's show, let's go ahead and run down the list of those that made it. Mrs. One-Eyed Cat, LP94 Lars is in the house, and by the way, Lars was filming so much stuff before the No Name Nationals even kicked off. I'm certain that dude's going to have like footage for the next 27 millennia. But yeah, Lars was the impromptu video camera guy from essentially when I pulled in the gate until we left. So he was always busy filming stuff. Big Block 402. Stephen Myrick is here. Candy Kane made a few passes at No Name Nationals. Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab. Let's see. Fab Race Mod Repeat from Northeast Dragway. John Wilburn says, hello, everyone. I'll be listening while driving.
Nice.
And then Mrs. One Cat tells him to drive safe, John. And if you don't know, John drives very safe. Uh, he is Mr. Safe Driver Award winner.
10 and 2, 60 miles an hour.
It probably,
10
yeah.
and 2.
I mean, like literally the safest driver I know.
That's awesome.
But yeah, but he also has tires that you can almost see the air coming out of them.
Oh.
So, so it's trade one for the next. But hopefully, it makes it home safe.
They were not bought slick. They were used to slick.
Yeah, Buick Smith is here. Fab Race Mon Repeat Mama M3, Mopar Mustang and Minivan. Colleen Tebow. She was at No Name Nationals representing the M3 group, and so was Damien on their electric monkey bike. NSB Custom Cars, howdy, howdy. And they were also at No Name Nationals making it, well, they were letting it all hang out for like one day, and then the Lenko Dart ate a tire.
Oh,
So
that's
we,
right.
yeah, I totally forgot about that till I saw it the other day with a mismatched tire on it. So,
Yeah.
Let's see, Dakota's Time Out, Buff Del Campo, let's see, Bill Makaiska, Rabid Transit Garage, Danny Boyd, Rocky Myers, Dave Norman, Val 360 Jimmy, and Dust Devil Garage are all in the house. So I guess what we're going to do, we'll do the normal question Q&A answers in the audience. But Shane and I are going to talk about I'm sorry about that, the good, bad, and the ugly of the No Name Nationals 2024, how things worked out, why they did. Not so much tech talk tonight. We'll try to answer some of the questions you throw up there, but it's not tech oriented tonight. It's not the focus.
First and foremost, though, I want to give out to shout out to John Wilburn. Big round of applause.
Yeah.
Great event. Always just like last time. It was amazing and well thought out. Everything went smoothly as it could be. One hiccup with rain, but obviously you can't control that. But other than that, and it wasn't even a hiccup. It was actually awesome because the kids and I got to ride around in the rain, and
well, it just
awesome.
pushed the burnout contest back a little bit, but it wasn't even really that much longer. It's like probably an hour.
Yeah, less. So, yeah, it was about an hour. But that was actually good because I liked having a little bit more time between endings, so that way we could have dinner and then get over there to the burnout contest. So to me, it just worked out a little better.
Yeah. So I guess to kick things off, the big things that I found, No Name Nationals 2024, um, and I'll tell you, I wasn't too enthusiastic about going, just because I guess probably a lot of things going on in my life, as well as there was a lot of heavy hitter 28, 10, 5 cars that I knew I didn't really have much of a chance competing against, in the mid to low fours, um, which is that's like significant for to try to get my home built car to run that kind of number.
Right. Your
Yeah,
street car.
especially without any power adders. So I was just not looking forward to it to begin with. Uh, it did change significantly because it turned out to be one of the best things that I've done easily this year and probably
Yeah.
in the past decade.
Since
Um,
16 for me.
really?
Yeah, since 16, because it was 16 was the last time I did the match racing. It was like mid 16 when I cracked the block in the car,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
basically
yeah.
it just got put away. And I lost that fun feeling, and I had that fun feeling about it because the track wasn't crazy prepped. So what I enjoyed about it is that it made it a level playing field. So the guys who showed up with 2,500 plus horsepower cars, they didn't own it. They just basically were just running just like me. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the big things that we'll get to. What we're going to do, what we'll do is we'll go through, we'll peruse the videos that are up on YouTube from the No Name Nationals, and then kind of give you a rundown of what was happening there. And we'll look for specific runs for like myself and Professor P. I can't really speak on anyone else's behalf
Right.
unless I was there to see it, but it's probably not my fair share to do that. But
Yeah.
in reality, Shane and I talk every day,
Hmm.
and we talked about um, how unfortunate it was that we were bringing a knife to a gunfight, and the impending doom that you're going to go there and just get smashed, right?
Yeah.
And made look bad. And I kind of I don't know, slowly lurched toward the grindstone of fate as this clock ticked down to the
So
kickoff for
true.
28-10-5, and it was like, man, I really don't want to do this. I mean, these guys are stupid fast,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be hard to compete. And the closer we got to it, the more I started to come up with a plan of what to do, right? And when Shane and I were match racing in Southern California, it was kind of the same way. You draw a car and you're supposed to be a 6:30 match race, and this cat shows up running 6:20s, right?
Yep.
And you got a whole 10th to cover, and you're like, oh, what can I do? Well, this is where the real, the racing understanding comes into play.
Hmm.
Um, and these guys had us covered by seconds, okay, not tenths of a second or half a second, but seconds.
Had me
Um,
by a second.
Yeah, I was almost two. And then, so first round of, well, I guess 28-10-5, first round. I mean, I did some racing the first day that we're the bracket racing. I decided last minute I'm going to jump in there with my tow rig, the Suburban, and I'm going to see if I can lay down a pass. I kind of talked to Barkley Schmidt about it, like, hey, man, I haven't done bracket racing in quite a while, but I used to be pretty good at it. And just luck of the draw, I end up racing Barkley Schmidt first round. And so I rolled the Suburban in and I wrote down the side of the window. Let me see if I can find a
Deep.
video that, yeah. I mean, I took her deep. Um,
There was a lot of ease on that deep.
there was a ton of ease. Let's see if we can share screen. Well, let me pull it up first, I guess. Um, we'll do
That's
this.
funny.
Well,
I
I knew
remember
that
that
the thing
too.
was going to have a lot of rollout. So, all right.
While he's pulling up that video, yeah, we talked about the 2010-5, and I was, man, so down on it because I was like, man, these guys are just going to come and just roll us up, and then Dallas basically was just like, well, let's get a plan together how we're going to do this, and that's really how materialized, and we came up with a decent plan. And the funny thing is that luckily this didn't happen, but there was 9 cars and they only put in 8 chips. And wouldn't you know it, guess who drew who? I drew Dallas and Dallas drew me first round. Luckily we had to throw them back in and get another chip. Because otherwise we would have been racing each other. Wouldn't you have known it?
All right. I don't know if you could hear the audio from that, can you?
I can't
when I
hear
did
audio.
that? Okay, good. All right. So I'll go to present, share screen, and select the tab, window. Okay, this one. Share. All right, this one's coming from Unity Motorsports Garage. Andy Wood, who's the owner of Casper. He showed up at the No Name Nationals this year, pretty much with 2 goals: to run the bracket race and to match race Cane to Cane. So this is his video here. Let's see. I was watching it earlier to try to get an idea of what was going on, but you can see he opened it and he told Shane and I, hey, I'm going to open my video with the burnout shots I got from you and Professor P. And
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, okay, sweet. So that, I mean, he did. So
That's awesome.
it is good looking, right?
Yeah.
The music's cool too. You probably can't hear it, but I'm jamming pretty hard over here.
Oh, no, we can't hear it, but it's good stuff.
All right. So here's Andy on his trek to the No Name Nationals from North Carolina. He's stopping at Buc-ee's getting a sandwich, because who doesn't stop at Buc-ee's? He's checking out Tony's rat rod. That at Tony's Hot Rod Garage, they did this. Of course, we get a commercial right away, but let's see if I can blow through this.
There you go. Skip.
Okay. So this is at Lambert's, in the parking lot at Lambert's. So everyone's getting together. But later in the video, okay, so Andy was talking about the rain. He's going to do some bracket racing, and let's see. I'll get a picture of the.
Oh, he does in-car. Oh, he got a camera. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's got an in-car camera, and it was pretty cool because you could see the truck running. So if you want to check out Andy's video from Unity Motorsports Garage, okay, so then he does an expose on the Cookie Monster. So if you've never seen the Cookie Monster up close and personal, this is it.
Right here. This one right here. Man, I've had that car for so long, man. It's awesome. It's just a small block Mopar.
What's that?
It's just a small block Mopar.
Yeah, just a small block Dodge. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's nothing special.
Yep. Totally factory parts. All of that stuff came from the factory.
Right?
Yeah. All right. Let's see. He had an
Which
in-car.
factory?
He was in the lanes. Okay, I think this is it here, maybe. All right, so here he is pulling up to the line, and you can see right there, that's the Suburban right there, okay? And if you get a little closer, you can see maybe.
Oh, you can see it. I can see it.
That's D with about 10 eeps, right? All the E and then a P. And it was running. I got it dialed at 1188. I had to pull Barkley Schmidt first round, and I rode her deep. Now it had like a 30-inch tall tire, so of course I was going to have to go deep because it was going to have about a mile of rollout. But I ended up almost cracking off the best light of the weekend. It probably might still have been the best light of the weekend. I don't know.
What'd you get?
000 with a 9 red.
Oh,
right, 9 10,000ths red.
Wow.
And I realized, and I'm actually kind of glad I went red. I hadn't bracket raced in a long time, but what would have sucked is this: Barkley worked all summer to get his 500 subs, and I would have cracked him off just pulling something out of my butt and putting him on the trailer first round of the bracket race, right? And so I felt kind of guilty, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to be doing this. So
So you pulled him. You guys had to draw chips, or did
we
you
didn't
just come
draw
to
trips.
lane?
It was just a bracket race. But when they pulled us into the lanes, they're staggered.
Oh yeah.
And when it evened out, it was me versus Barkley. And I'm like, oh my God, man. Really? First round?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's all these people in the bracket. And how did I get Barkley? But that's just the way it worked out. And I'm kind of glad I went red because I didn't want to end Barkley's weekend because that's what he was primarily there for, was the bracket race. And so I just took my lumps and left. But it was 0009, right? Which I'd never had a light that goes into the fourth digit before.
No, neither have I.
And I mean, because if you think about it, that's like almost a perfect light. He would have literally had to run dead on his dial and have like 1,000th or two on the light. He would have had to almost have a perfect light just to compete. And that's where, if you don't know a lot about drag racing, it doesn't matter if you're bracket racing, heads up racing, or whatever, the light is what dictates everything. Okay.
It's going to be the overall theme for this whole video.
Right. That's kind of, you're going to hear that a lot tonight.
Yeah.
So let's answer some of these questions.
We got the
Unless
questions.
you want me to play some more of the video, but I think we're falling behind on all the questions.
Oh, okay.
So let's catch up here. Buick Smith says, who has footage of the monkey bike racing? Have not seen any yet. I'll try to pull some up. I'm sure there's some out there. There was quite a few monkey bikers actually with this year's introduction of the outlaw monkey bike.
And they're fast. They were fun.
They were fast. There were some of them topping like 60 miles an hour.
Oh, well, did they run the full 8 though?
I don't know. I didn't. All I saw was an ET up at the tower, and I was like, oh my God, that guy went freaking almost 60 miles an hour on a monkey bike.
Okay, well that had to have been 8th mile because the math was about, I was expecting 42 to 45 as the max speed in 330.
So Val 360 Jimmy says, morning all, hope you enjoyed your No Name Nationals. And Val is on the other side of the planet.
So, yeah. Next year you should fly out, man.
Yeah, you should come on up for it. I mean, it's a good time. It's a heck of a good time, and pretty much everyone camps, and it's just a bench racing session during the nights, and also a beer drinking session sometimes, and then people barbecuing and hanging out.
Oh, Big Block 402 said that they ran the full 8th due to 330 beam not working in one lane. Oh, that's right. I remember someone saying that to me. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh. Well, Stephen Myrick says he had a good time too. Had a great time. So Dust Devil Garage says, this year I learned, this year at No Name, I learned that Professor P is a freaking lumberjack. Yeah, we both we took some of them heavy hitters to school.
Yeah, we sure did.
Yeah, chopped down some serious lumber.
That was Dallas's idea. He's the one that came up with that. He's the one that told me, he goes, hey man, it's 2 seconds. He goes,
well, it's actually like 1.5. You could probably do better, but the other guy still has no clue, and we'll get to it in a minute. Big Block 402 says, I didn't get a lot of footage. Spent too much time wrenching on the truck. Fuel line upgrades coming to feed them carbs. Yeah, and so Stephen Myrick was plagued with fuel issues almost the entire weekend. From the
I
pump
heard they had a
regulator
line
with the 5/16 line coming out of the tank, and I'm like, dude, that is not enough.
Yeah,
that might be enough for one of those carburetors.
Yes,
but
yeah, they're efficient, but there's still 2 of them.
Well, he had a 3/8 outlet, I think, installed on the thing. Okay. NSB says, I will report that we made it back home with no blowouts. Of course, they had 3 on the way up there. Wow. You remember NSB, Shane? You talked to him for a while.
I know. Remember that. He actually, the dad actually was the one who backed me into the water box.
Oh, so, all right.
Yeah, he did a good job, man. He got me right there. So when I raced Mopar Joe.
Okay, yeah, those guys, they had a freaking terrible time with tires this week.
And they're tire guys.
Right. Well, that's the irony behind it, right?
Exactly.
They work on the Coates tire machines. That's their living. And they had 3 blowouts on the trailer on the way up there. And then the car had a blowout after making a pass, which is unheard of. But usually race tires don't get that much wear to where you have a blowout. So, or that much time in the sun to rot them out. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, they're having a hurricane party right now too. Yeah.
This is one like cat. Sorry to hear what happened to Buff, but glad he's okay. So,
Yeah. On the
yeah, he
way
said
home, Mr. Buff
he
Del
got run off the
Campo.
road or something, right?
Yeah, he was run off the road. He spent probably, I think, the night in the hospital. Kim texted me and let us know that he's okay. They drove home in the dark, and he's back. So I see him in the chat, so that's good. So I'm glad you're okay there, Buff. Really, I am. And
Yeah, that's a terrible thing to hear.
yeah,
So I'm glad you're still around and kicking amongst the live or the
right.
living. Um, but yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that. I didn't know that that was a thing. Shane told me like literally right before we went live. One in cat says I managed at 10:02 at 73. Didn't get my nines, but ran better than last year. No complaints here. And
Yeah.
that's all that you should be looking for is improvements on what you had the previous year, and the upgrades that you did on the off season for your on your channel, and then come out here and guns a blazing, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, I see Blue Grits in the chat. That's awesome, man.
Well, this is our performance. Hey, so this is the James and James show, and they showed up actually in full force for 28-10-5 on Saturday, and they were plagued with like some last minute nitrous line leakage issues, and it was just every time them guys show up at No Name Nationals, it's fun to watch their car run because you look at it and you're like, oh, that's just a really fast street car, maybe. God, that sucker is fast, dude. And
Which car was this? Because I went up. There was two people I didn't recognize. I went up, and introduced myself.
it was like it's like a 75 Nova,
Oh,
right?
that
And
was
it's
him. Yeah,
primer.
because he said his name was James, and I was like, "Is that the James and James show?"
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
just
they
walked up.
changed their name this year to SSR Performance.
Oh,
But they had the Nova out there again this year, and little James was driving, and as soon as they cracked the bottle, it's like pouring nitrous out the line. So
mm,
you'll see in one of the videos, which I think it's this one here with Andy Wood, where he's actually walking with the car up to the line, opening the nitrous bottle because it would have all leaked out while he was waiting, right?
oh,
Um, so I had no idea he was doing something like that
wow.
until I saw the video. Like, holy crap!
But he made a decent pass in the 2010-50 class. So then,
First round they went out because he didn't even red light. You know it's instant green, so it gets
yeah.
people all screwed up.
Oh,
There was no
gotcha.
lights and then green. Well, he let her eat as soon as he got staged, and I'm
Hmm.
like, yeah, you're a little bit too soon, dude. You
Yeah, I
know,
did see
because
that.
Shane and I kind of got her all figured out. But all right, let me run through and catch up. Let's see, Dylan Levi, and hey, shout out to Dylan Levi. Two things. All right, one, Dylan Levi had one of the most wicked passes I've seen that car make this year, ever. That thing went screaming down the lanes, or
To
the
to the 600 foot,
yeah, and then it scattered.
and then the
Um,
last 60 foot is it started locking up. Yeah.
yeah, and then he spent the entire weekend trying to pull that bullet out and replace it with something else so he could make another pass, but it didn't happen. But shout out, I mean, it was a big effort, huge undertake on his part and the guys from Rapid Transit Garage. But yeah, he did a lot of work, and that car was really fast for
Hmm.
that 7/8 of a pass.
He was in the left lane, which had a 330 time, and he was running like a for something. And so when I told him, I was like, dude, that's right on par to run a 595. So I
Yeah.
was like, you were right there. So if it didn't, I thought he was hitting the brakes. I was up at the fence, and when he went through, I heard it go. "Er, er, er." So I thought he was just trying not to go under a speed. So, but I didn't know that the engine launched. So that sucks.
All right. Michael Smith says, Dallas, since you don't have a power adder, consider checking him in and reminiscing with Ben Alameda. That was his specialty. He won the Grand National versus Mustang race series many times without a power adder. I know Ben Alameda. He used to
Mhm.
sponsor the Match Race Madness when Shane and I used to run in Southern California.
Cool dude.
Yeah. He also used to, I think he did the motors in what Ernie Cellular's
Yep.
Mustang.
Yep. He did that. There
And
was a
that thing
few
was,
engines. He had about 3 engines out there.
did he? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of guys that used to use Ben. He's a sharp dude. He's right up there with Joe Sherman,
Mhm.
right? Where Ben Alameda is like pretty big on the Fords,
Yeah.
and Joe Sherman was pretty big on the Chevrolets.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, we're gonna scroll through. Okay. Blue Grit Garage says Cookie Monster looked like a handful on a few of those runs.
It was.
There's one of them in here that's pretty hairy that we'll pull up today. Yeah,
The track was perfect for us, for us underpowered guys, but I had to find the right combination of top end nitrous, and so there was a little balancing act there, and I had to find the right percentage and the timing, because when you have a delay, you have your initial hit, and then you have your second and a half delay, and then you have another hit. So it's like being hit by a truck twice.
all right. So Michael Schmidt's asking which channel had the most or best footage. Just not sure. I have subbed every one of the channels.
Everyone.
The most there was the first one that went up was that I saw was from Bobby Frizzell Racing.
For me, it was
Oh,
two hacks. Two hacks got up. He got up like little individual races for each person, like little
did he?
2-minute videos.
Yeah, Jump Car Willie was doing that too, but
Yeah.
Bobby Frizzell had essentially the first entire weekend
Oh yeah.
encapsulated video, and
Yeah.
it had a pretty good number of good runs. It had a lot of the 28-10-5. It had some bracket racing, um, and I think it had some of the grudge call-out matches. And Shane and I ended up, instead of just doing a grudge race or against who we were going to race, we ended up doing match races, best out of threes,
Mhm.
on a I can't remember. Did we do them on instant green? I did mine
I
on instant green, I think.
I did mine on a pro tree because I wanted instant green. Joe's still on a foot brake, so we just went right in the middle and did
Oh,
it on a
yeah.
pro tree. And I let him pick the lane, since he was a little at a disadvantage because the trans brake and all.
Yeah. And then we got this is Unity Motorsports Garage here pulled up, and we'll continue with the Unity Motorsports Garage video. I'm just trying to catch up. John Wilburn says the event ET record is now reset to 518. Top speed of the event was 140, and the fastest monkey bike hit 50 miles an hour in the eighth. There you go. That's all the statistics. So I thought it was 60, but it was 50 miles an hour.
Okay,
But it was still
that's a little better.
fast. Well, it's
That's a
still
little
fast.
better because at least at 330, I didn't think they'd get much over 40, 42 to 43. That's really what the math I was getting.
Yeah, SSR Performance is that we didn't set no records, but Rusty Nova got a new personal best ET, so
Oh,
that's
good.
pretty awesome.
That's
And there was
awesome.
a lot of people that were actually doing personal best. Andy Wood got a personal best in Casper.
Mhm.
Of course, SSR Performance. I did not. I had better performance last year, surprisingly, but it was. Let me tell you, first and foremost, it was swelteringly hot and humid. It
And
was
the
like,
altitude was
yeah,
high.
the DA every day was like generally about 3,000 feet.
Yeah, and the
So
water was 97%. It was just terrible.
it was, yeah, it was staggering. It was just horrible. And in some part of this video, Andy says he gets in the truck with his helmet on. He's like, "Gosh, it's hot." Uh, okay.
For those who got to look at my car, you get to see my little 12-volt fan I have over there. That's a lifesaver. I can flip that thing on and I'm good.
SSR Performance, I says, I backed you up one time when Dallas was MIA. Shane had asked me to
Oh,
go up there, and as soon as I showed up there to back him up, Barkley was in the lane next to me,
yep.
and so I went over and I grabbed Deke and I asked Deke to back you up, but I guess James did it. So
Yeah, thanks, James. Yeah, I don't remember who it was. If that was you, thank you very much. There was a, it was a, there. I just didn't know where that. I've never really backed into that a water box since Carlsbad, and that was, Dallas knows how long that was. So I just didn't want to get into that hump because I didn't want to splash water. I just wanted to get before it, roll forward, and then do my burnout.
all right. So just to straighten things out, NSB Custom Cars, Dean is my cousin. I'm older than I look. So he's not the dad.
Oh,
He's his
okay.
cousin. That's what I thought they were cousins.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Let's see. What? All right. So Big Block 402 Stephen Meyer says I got a new personal best, but still have a lot left in it. Oh, that thing's got a ton left in it. Wait till you get all the fuel to come in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. He also says the duck got all four wheels off the ground when he hit the chute bracket. Yeah, that was pretty nuts when they tried attacking the track, because most of these guys, and I'll lay it out straight, they run no prep stuff. So when they showed up at a prep track, it's like changing the entire game. They got to figure it out, right? And so they got to go through the setup, and they got to unsoften the front end and add in shock in the rear, and so it'll dead hook and go instead of doing big wheelies.
Yeah.
And these guys, I think at that time they were trying to attack the track and really go after it, and that thing came straight up in the air, was all four wheels off the ground, hanging on the parachute bracket, sparks going everywhere, and then it came down. I thought it had most certainly bent the frame, but it seemed to drive straight.
Yeah.
But then they just putted down the track because it's not what they wanted.
He was nearly vertical like this. I mean,
Yeah.
It was like it was up there.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Oh, here we go. Big Block 402 says Jeff Long was on radios for the first time at No Name National. So that may have been what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. And then we got Blake showing up here photo bombing or bombing our live. But okay, so let's get back to Andy Wood's video here. I know you guys can't hear the audio, but I'll grab it along here and we'll move this thing along. All right. So Andy Wood actually did a lot of filming for us, and so did Bobby Frizzell, because they were both pretty much just hanging out there at the track in the pretty much in the lanes. All right. So I don't know which pass this is. I think this is Test and Tune.
Oh, that was you. So he has a video of you building your transmission and then you being at the track. That's cool. All right.
Yeah. Because I went over there and we tuned up my C4, but he popped in there when I think this is for us was our test and tune passes on Friday. Is that right? Okay. We did some on Friday.
Yeah, I did.
Or Saturday. I think we did it on Friday.
I did it Friday. I did 2 passes Friday.
Yeah, I think I did one in each lane to find out which one was the hotter lane. And if you didn't figure it out, that far lane over there, that's what everybody was calling the house lane, right? They were literally spraying that one twice as much as the near lane. I don't know why, but
the house lane.
Yeah. So, all right. So here we are. This is just a test pass. And generally when I open up, like the first time I'm going to make a pass at No Name Nationals, I like to do big, huge stinking burnout, just to let everybody know I'm there. Plus lay down some good fresh rubber, because all of the street cars were out there before, right? So it pulls up a lot of the rubber when the street cars go out.
But, yeah, I did that too. In fact, I did a meager burnout a couple times, but then I did
too small one?
Was that?
You did too small of one?
I did too when I raced Barkley. I did too small of a burnout. I didn't get in the water box good enough. So right. I had to pedal it 3 times just to get down the track, you know?
Yeah. Here's Professor P getting the car ready for some, I'm assuming this might be Saturday test and tune. This is the second test and tune, I think. But he's checking you out there, and then I'm sure he's telling everybody subscribe to Slant Daily Garage.
Oh, cool. Then, thanks, man.
Let's see here. Okay. Here is the Cookie Monster in action. And this, like I said, the first, our test and tune day for 28-10-5 is Saturday. Or on Friday. I'm sorry, Friday. And then Saturday is the race day. So, and we'll get to the race day here in a second.
Yeah, I think this one is when I was still trying to run the 250 kit, and I was having issues with it just hooking up.
Watch the car. I've seen this before. It jumped straight off the ground.
Yeah.
It went good, but it just literally jumped straight off the ground.
Yeah, because I had the 250 kit in it, but it just hazed the tire. That was actually the first time I felt tire shake in that car.
Well, that's the James & James Nova. We just passed it. There's the turbocharged S10, Barkley Schmidt's Mustang, the Cookie Monster, and then here's who I pulled first round, Michael Yielding, and my T-Bird, right? And so here's where I'll go ahead and pause it. Well, I'll let you know what Shane and I ended up talking about and how we got to this point.
Yeah.
Okay, we noticed when everybody was doing their test and tune that they were all waiting for the green light to come on. It is instant green. There's no yellows on the 3 ambers in the center. Okay, so you stage, both cars are staged, instant green, light comes on. Okay, these guys were waiting for the green to come on to go. And I told Shane, like, hey, man, I know we don't have a chance, but I'd really like to go out there and put my Rocky Balboa on them and give them the best shot I could, right? Like, I know I can't win, but I want to go the distance with the champ, right?
Yeah.
And so I had been watching this, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going home anyway. I know it. This guy's got me covered by 2 seconds. I mean, I'd really have to melee this dude. So I'm going to try everything I possibly can. So I kind of tried something out here on this run, which you'll see what I ended up doing was I let him go in first and stage the car and get where he wanted. So he was all comfortable. And then I pulled in my second stage beam. And as soon as I hit the second stage beam, I counted 1, 2, and I let that sucker eat. All right. And what ended up happening was on an instant green, it's hard to red light because it's just green, right?
Yep.
It's like you don't know when it's coming on. It's random. It's just green. And how it worked is this. Your car, when you react in a drag race, it doesn't immediately, as soon as you mat the gas, go, right? It doesn't leave. It has to take the tension out of the drive shaft. It has to take the tension out of the rear axle, like the
Transfer weight.
Right. Exactly. It has to shift weight around in the car. The springs have to lift in the front and compress in the rear. And all these things happen. And that all of those things added up together. By the time you press the gas and the tire moves out of the beam is what's called rollout. Okay. It's how long it takes your car to roll out of the beams. And that's how your reaction time is factored. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's from when that rollout it happens, essentially from the green light to the rollout or of the beam. And I realized, my car's got a lot of rollout. I got a foot brake car. It doesn't have a trans brake. It doesn't react quick like Shane's car does with a good trans brake. And I got to take advantage of everything I have. So what I ended up doing was I counted 1, 2, and I let that sucker eat. And as the car is tilting backwards, I can feel it starting to launch. I see the green light come on, and I'm like, literally in my head, I'm like, yielding, you better have your pants on because you're about to get effed, right? I mean, like, I'm really killing you on this light, and you'll see it right here.
I was actually in behind yielding. I'm getting ready to do my burnout, and I was sitting right here, and I watched this happen. I had the best seat in the house. That was awesome. You had him to
well, if you watch the track guy here, he actually points to my lane, but what you can't hear is the audio. This is Andy Wood taking a picture of it, right? And Andy was like, show him how that cleaver runs. You're the only NA car out here. And he is literally jumping up and screaming in the lanes as he watches me just freaking murder him on the tree, right? Let's see. Right.
Oh yeah,
everybody's pointing out I got the win, right? and it's like everything but that, because yielding just drives around me like I got the anchor out.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is Barkley, and this is Professor P in the right lane here, the Cookie Monster on the right hand side.
So now what I had on this one is that I had a 250 kit in this one tune-up, and I had it like 80% coming in the second and a half, and I just overpowered the track. And I didn't get a good burnout on this one too, because I didn't get into the water box good, and I knew it going into this, so I was really ready for to have to come back off the nitrous pretty hefty.
And, I'll throw in there real quick for those that don't know that this, like, they back their car in there and it's a piece of cake. It's different when you have like one of these cars that has the window nets and you got all the safety gear on with a visor that you have a full face helmet. You can only see like this window.
Yeah.
Right. It is so hard to get the car in the groove, backed up in the water box, do the burnout, and get it in line in the groove to leave.
Yeah.
It's a lot of effort. And generally what you have is you have somebody that backs you up in the water. So this was, we'll just watch this run. All right. So Shane knocks the tires off, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and then runs them down on the big end. So that's what you missed. I mean, and Barkley's, he literally was probably the slowest car in the class. He was doing it just to have fun, and more power to him. But he said he got a side-by-side view of how nitrous works on a car because he heard Shane's car hook up and then just freaking blow his doors off.
Yeah. He came over to me and he goes, man, we were side by side, and all of a sudden I just heard this rumble. And then he goes, I heard that nitrous. I looked down, saw the candles lit, and you just went, wow. He goes, wow.
All right, so here's the James and James show. Did you see him? He's leaning in there trying to turn on the bottle, and he's pulling the car up. He didn't know that James is back there doing that, right? And he's like, all right, fine. I just give up. I'm slamming the trunk shut. Hopefully he got enough nitrous oxide. And little James pulls it in the lane, and you'll see what happens. They both pull it in. This truck on the right-hand side is a turbo 4.8 LS. All right, so he's got to spool it up. So they go in, and he bumps it with the bump box, and James lets it eat.
Oh, yeah.
That's what happened. And so, that was kind of how it went. So, all right. If you want to see the rest of the video, go to Unity Motorsports Garage, check it out. You can see the match race between Candy Cane and Casper. But that was essentially the first round of racing for, one and only round for me, because I went home. Yielding ran me down at the 330-foot mark and then just proceeded to bury me at the top end of the track. And then he got out of the car with a tire iron and hit me as I went by. Right. I mean, he was freaking, he put some lengths on me. And I didn't have enough for him. But here's the thing. After we got done with this pass, I told Shane what I tried. I said, hey, man, I know you're going to be in here. You're going to be fighting all these heavy hitters, and they're still in there, right? Because the duck's still in, yielding's still in. And when you go up there and draw, you're probably going to draw, chances are you're probably going to draw one of these really fast cars. And here's what I did. And I said, all I did was take it into the second stage beam and be the last one in, and then count 1, 2, and let the sucker eat, right?
Yep.
So we'll see if we can find that video.
I got it right here.
Do you?
I got one. Yeah. So here you go. Watch this. I'm going to go full John Wilburn here.
Okay. You want me here? Let me get rid of this shared screen then.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I got.
Okay. Here you go.
Get the mic over here. Let's get this. So this is from John, from J Long Time 20. So now
that's Jaron Long, isn't it?
Huh?
That's Jaron Long, right? The duck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the duck. So here you go.
So here's Shane trying to 1-2, and he just beats the pants right off of that dude, right?
Yeah. And you know why I lost that race? And there was a driver error there. I didn't hit it hard enough to get into second gear. So what happened was that I went up and I hit it, but I normally I would hit it and push it into second gear. It's still new shifter, and I hit it and I bumped it. And what it did is it bumped forward, came back into first, and then it went on the rev limiter, shut all the nitrous off, shut everything off. I had to bump it back in, get back in it. This is how close it was. We went into the first cone. I was ahead of him. When we came out the back of the cone, he was about this far in front of me. I could literally look at his a rear tire was just behind my head. That's how close the race was. So if I didn't miss that, I would have got that, because I would have mile an hour them too. So
that's the only thing Shane and I could have done was tree him, right? Because he didn't have the horsepower. He didn't have the lightweight car. These cars, that car that Shane was just racing there was is this the Instigator?
Instigator, yeah.
It's 3,500 horsepower.
Just crazy.
Shane has about 1,000. Right.
He shook the roof. Ron was telling me that he shook the whole tower when he left. It just insane. In fact, I heard him coming over my car, and I think that's why I missed the shift too, because I couldn't hear anything on my car. It was so damn loud. Seriously, I'm dead serious, man. It's like having a top fuel dragster next to you, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, my mouse decided to take a dump right now. Great. So we'll see if we can charge up here for a few minutes. Maybe I'm able to roll down through them.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
went in there like it's a if you look at there's a couple of videos out there, but he went in first, and then I went in. Did my first beam, then he instantly went into the second, and then I counted like to four, and then I went in and went one, two, and I went fuck you, and I'm out of here, man. And
Well,
it's just
that's one thing that we also noticed too is these guys were really eager to get in the lights. So we're
yeah,
going to let them go roll in first,
yeah,
right? So that way you could get your staging strategy
yeah,
correct, right?
yeah,
Like
and you
just let
control
them
the
go in.
tree
Just let
now.
them go in. You got all the time in the world to get into that second bulb.
Yeah,
Uh,
and it's 7 seconds in an NHRA, but if you do 4 seconds when you're at that point seems like an
oh
eternity,
yeah,
and you can control the tree. So you're going to let them mess up, and that's a little strategy that I've used before. Dallas definitely uses it too. Once you control the tree, you're running how the race starts, and that's definitely an advantage.
yep. And really, what it does is it messes with their head. When I
Hmm.
talked to Michael Yielding afterwards, he was like, dude, I couldn't believe it. That green came on so fast. And I looked up and you're halfway down the track.
Yeah,
And I'm like, yeah, man, I wasn't messing around. I
yeah.
was trying to feed you as much of that tree as I could.
And
But
that's what the guy who was driving the instigator, he came over and he's like, man, I saw you leave. And I looked in when I left, I felt the car transfer, slam me in the seat and start going. And as soon as my head hit the back, I saw the green light come on and I'm like, oh, that guy's in trouble. And then I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw his car kind of coming up like this. So that was it was just awesome. It was good
well,
stuff.
and so what we figured out is we're pretty much putting about 2 to maybe 3 tenths on them,
Hmm.
depending on how good the reaction time was.
Yeah.
So 2 to 3 tenths is a heck of a long time. And now, if we had been within 2 or 3 tenths, that would have been game over for them guys,
Yeah.
right? But of
My
course,
fastest mile an hour of the event was 125. So I did 122 something, 123 maybe against just Mopar Joe. But yeah, the race before I was doing 125 when I raced Barkley. So I knew I had some mile an hour, and I knew he was probably going to mile an hour me by about 10 miles an hour. I was expecting to probably do 135 or more. So that's why I had to get way out there on him, and that's what I was trying to do. Oh,
well,
John Wilburn saying that the windows in the tower shook when that car did its burnouts across the starting line. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I was right next to it. I
well,
know.
Shane and I were up there for the first time run for these guys, and he looks at me and says, "This is our competition. We might as well just pack up and go home." And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not going to. I mean, I realize these guys are running in the fours and the threes. I'm not going to do it. I'm going
Yeah,
to give them the best of what I got. And you know what? To be honest with you, when I left the track that day, when we left the track on Saturday evening,
Saturday night. Yeah,
I had a smile on my face, ear
me
to
too.
ear, and I was giggling every time I was thinking about what Michael Yielding's face must have looked like when he looks up and sees my car like already like to the 60-foot mark, you know? And I kind of giggle about it, think about it.
Mine was three faces. One, Barkley, because I was looking right at him when the nitrous came on,
Uh-huh.
and we were looking right at each other. And when that car came on and went, and I that face also too, the instigator's face, he must have been like, "Oh my God, I'm late," you know.
Yeah, what am I doing? Am I over here taking a nap, putting a puzzle together?
And then probably just Mopar Joe when I did a half track burnout, backed right back up into my lanes and then just pulled out a 1:30 60-foot time. So yeah.
Yeah. So Buick Smith asked, how did that 300 Buick run in the S10? Well, Clint got it there. We got it running. We got it fired up. It was running like dog crap. We assumed that it must have picked up something from the tank
Yeah.
of the S10 because Clint put a new pickup in it for a carbureted S10. And so we pulled the carburetor apart. Lo and behold, it was filled with a bunch of garbage. So what did I do? I thrashed it right there in the pits with a can of brake clean. And we got it all cleaned out and everything. All the passages opened up, put it back on, got it fired up. And that's literally the first time it ran in the truck where I had driven.
Yeah.
And let's see, it broke. What did it do? It broke like the air shocks, I think, on it, and the
Yeah.
truck kept sagging down on the frame onto the axle.
Mm.
But the carburetor needed quite a bit of adjustment because it had never even been down the road. But when he matted it, it would bog pretty bad. So I adjusted the adjustable part throttle and got rid of some of it. It just needs a bigger jet in the primary. But here's the neat thing: when you matted it, it would bog, and then all of a sudden you do the normal quadra bog deal where it would blow the freaking rear tires off.
It did.
And it was pretty damn quick, actually.
It looked good because he was starting to drive. He was like, "Man, it's got this bog," and I said, "Let's go to the end of the track and come back." And so he was doing some practice burnouts on it, and it would light those tires up pretty easily.
Yeah, it didn't have much of a problem, and it had a mini spool in it.
Oh,
So,
yeah. And he drove it. So after you guys did the carburetor, he drove it to Lambert's, right? That was after that.
yep,
Yeah.
and that's the first time it had ever even driven with that powertrain in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. Big Block 42 says Instigator was Lau's car on site. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
100%.
I'm way behind here. John saying the windows in the tower shook. That's what you said earlier. Let's see. Michael Schmidt says, was there an award for best reaction time? If not, maybe a possibility for next year. Huh? There was actually $100 payout for the best reaction time, but it would never, ever go to the instant green 28-10-5 class. No. You couldn't beat the bracket racers. I mean, like I said, it was 9/10 thousandths red.
Yeah.
And the closest I got after Shane and I had figured out the 1-2 letter 8 was what I have it 229. I think it was a 229 light I had, and I think yours was better than that.
Yeah, I was in the O something. I barely made it. I was probably going to go red, but I made it. I don't know. I have the ticket here somewhere. I have it in the car.
Clint says, yeah, Pinched Airline had a slow leak, and that's what it was. That thing was pretty dang quick, though.
Yeah. Dude, it's funny. I have this in my notes right here, but read the one right underneath that. Big Block 402 says it right there. It says the VRS Nationals. That's exactly what I wrote right here.
VRS Nationals.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good one was, I'm going to call it the VRS Nationals. You read my mind, man.
That's it was funny. Like everybody had one, huh?
Yeah.
Michael Schmidt, there was $100 bonus for a perfect light. That went to the bracket pot because there wasn't a perfect light. I think I got the closest for the perfect light. So John says, my car had some beautiful wheel stands. Jeff's dragster and the Duck had serious wheel stands, but they weren't planned. Yeah, see, so when I pulled Michael Yielding first round, I went back to the pits, and if you know the tech guy Deke and his wife Kathy, I told Kathy was back there, and I said, all right, Kathy, you want to going to get your camera for this because I'm pulling off the travel limiters on the front. We're going to go skyward because if I can't win, I'm going to give everybody something memorable to remember, right? And when I ended up doing the big wheelie and murdering him on the tree, it's like all that anybody was talking about to me, like that was the greatest thing this weekend, and I'm like, it would have been better if I went to second round, but I still wasn't butthurt by any means. It was fun to go up there and give him your best and know that you did your best. You couldn't done any better, right? There you go. Stephen Mark says his best reaction time was a 1:43 against Casper.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ronald Gutierrez inside Real Russia. My car won't do a wheel stand. If it did, I'd be in trouble. Well, you throw a bunch of nitrous at it and you can probably do one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But let's see. Let's see what some more videos that we can pull up here. Okay. So let me see if I can find some here. What was the one we were talking about from Bobby Frizzell?
That was he did the well, there was also a 2X Garage did one on just the one race with me and Joe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So go to 2X Garage.
Okay.
And then go to videos, and then he put up a 2-minute video. Me and Just Mopar Joe, we're going to do a 2 out of 3 match race. after the first race, we're gonna continue it. We'll do it another time. He was having a little bit of some technical difficulties, so we're going to postpone it until he gets it fixed, and then we're gonna do our 2 and possibly 3rd race. So we're just gonna postpone it
What
because
in the world? Oh, is it Jumpin' Jack Flash Day 2, shaking the car down and having fun?
no, it says Cookie Monster right on it. If you go to videos,
Oh, I see it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Now I'm going to share screen. Select the tab.
So I told Joe that when we go out there to race, I'm going to put on a show. So, yeah.
Okay. It's a cookie. Alrighty. So I have not seen this video. So this is the first time I've seen this one.
Oh, okay, good. There's Deke right there.
There's Deke. Yeah, he's pulling in. He knew that we were going to need some help. Oh, and there's NSB Custom Cats.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't see Deke there, so I asked him if they would back me in, and he says absolutely. He goes actually he'll do it because he backs me in. I said perfect, thank you, man. I said I don't want to go into the dip just before the dip.
Oh, well, I hit the dip. That was probably my downfall, my 3rd match race pass, because the car, I think one tire. Man, look at this burnout. All right, I'll back it up.
Yeah, I carried that one a little far, but I wanted.
Well, I was half track when this one went down, and I was like,
yeah.
"Golly, man, what the hell is going on?" He's up in the ante.
I kept it right at about 6,500, $7,000, and I just let it just roll out. As soon as it started to roll, hit 2nd gear and just let it go. And
I just feathered the throttle in high gear and
yeah, just feathered it. So it didn't hit the rev limiter. Just wanted to, just wanted to put on the show. I was expecting him to do the same thing. So yeah, see, that's a half track burnout right there.
Well, and that's the difference between bracket racer and heads up racer. The deal is a bracket racer, they're conservative with their tires because they got to run all season, and they try to save them because it's more overhead for them, if they burn the tires off.
So back that up again real quick. I'm gonna point something out here. So like I've never had a backup person ever. So what I learned how to do is I'm looking in the rearview mirror and the front. So when you do a big long burnout like that, you can pretty much get where you're at. And if you watch, I get myself right into the groove. So I'm right in my tracks, and I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and that's how I get in there. Because I've got a big collar, so I can't turn around. Yeah. And then if you get your side mirror just right, you can look right down onto the ground.
That's where you just did. I use my side mirror, and I guide myself with the side mirror. And the rearview mirror is almost useless in my car.
Oh,
but it does work, but the roll bar is in the way, and but you can see where you're going. You can see through somebody directly behind you.
So this was a 200 kit in here, and it was on 80% out of the whole 2nd and a half out come in. So it went pretty good here. And you can see it clip in, and yeah, that was about 122 or 123. I couldn't remember what it was, but after that, Joe was having some issues because we were going to go and run them back again, but I just told him we'll do it a different time. Yeah. So I want to race. Man, I don't want to just kill someone. That sucks. I really want him to. I want him to be right there. I wanted to feel that match race. You know what I mean? So
right. Well, and that's what's exciting about it. Is a match race. There's probably nothing more fun.
Yeah. Cookie.
Yeah.
Funny.
Oh, is this in the same run, huh? Oh, it's
yeah.
a still.
Yeah, he's playing. So if you want to check that video out, it's 2X Garage, and it's Cookie Monster dart. It's actually really good. It's only like 2 minutes, but it's fun. He puts together kind of like an old, like it's a 1960s race type of deal montage. So yeah, check it out. And then yeah, this guy right here, this guy's cool too. Man, I had a great time talking with him.
It's Bobby Frizzell. Yeah,
yeah,
he's awesome. The first one that got the video up. So here's some more Casper. And of course a commercial.
Right.
Hopefully you have your hydrogen peroxide
with your pickle right next to it, right?
Yeah. Okay. So here's Andy. I think he's racing actually the Frankenstein's D20 right there. and Bobby Frizzell's right behind him. Okay, so uh, you can't really, because I don't have the audio on this, you can't really hear what he's saying. So we'll just go ahead and fast forward a bit. Uh, and he's doing a walk around of Casper. What's this? Oh, here we go. It's Casper Racing. All right. Oh, he's racing the Turbo Trans Am, which don't think that this one has a Turbo 301 and it has a 455.
Oh, and look at dry hops. That was
Yeah.
awesome. Good job, Andy. I
Yeah.
love
Well,
that.
didn't you and I did that in the match races, didn't we?
I didn't do a complete dry hop because I couldn't get it to launch because it was it was I couldn't get it up on the brake. So
And so you can see how fast Casper is in regards to like a regular, that's a 455 Pontiac, like in a Trans Am,
wow.
right? So here's the first round. This is Mia and Michael yielding again.
Oh,
Watch
this is
this
good
wheelie.
view. So watch this. Watch how fast. Look at that.
Yeah. And you can see how far I got out on him. But you can also see from this angle how much he cleaned my clock by. Like I said, he got out and punched me in the face. So here's Shane. And if you had the
See how I
audio,
did?
you could hear this.
Yeah. See how I didn't do much of a burnout there, and I knew it, and I was like, man. And then John Wilburn says that Ron came over and he goes, Shane, pedal low, because I pedaled it so many times.
Yeah, there's the first race with Barkley. And you're going to see the Cookie Monster get a little bit out of shape here. So either he got right off the line. And so there's a third time it got out of shape. So Shane was in there sawing the wheel in half, trying to get it straightened out and pedaling it all over the place.
Yeah, I have a little spot where I put my elbow, and I'm really just kind of driving with one hand. And then, you get used to a car, you kind of drive it,
Yeah, I'm just looking at like, you see how I never really noticed how flimsy the duck looks.
Yeah. Well,
She's pretty lightweight.
it's a tube chassis car with a shell on top of it. So it's a steel quarters, and it follows all the rules for that. But literally, it's a tube chassis car with just a body set on top of it.
So it's a pro mod then.
Technically, yeah, but
Actually, it'd be like a pro stock.
pro stock. Yeah, that would be, yeah, because it's not an altered wheelbase. The engine is set back quite a bit, but it's not beyond that. In fact, I know the guy who welded that up. That was Andy Smith. The guy who drives the Hercules. He was the one that welded that chassis.
All right, so here's the 2-Hex Dragster.
Yeah.
Get ready to tow it up to the lanes. If you didn't have a chance to check this thing out in person, it is quite the nice machine.
Oh, and you know what? I'll let the cat out of the bag. So, me and 2-Hex actually, and Jeff were talking about doing a match race at the end of the whole event. There was back in the '60s, there was a lot of cars that would race against dragsters. They were having some issues, so then I went over there and I helped them tune up their power glide. If you notice, the first couple races, it just wasn't going anywhere.
It was just like the training wasn't working at all.
Yeah, so I went over there and I adjusted their low gear band. They had 2 turns in it, so it was too tight, so it was actually binding up. And then I made it so it was about 3 turns out, which is typically it's 3 to 4 turns depending on who built it or whatever. Everyone's got their own little thing. 3 is good, it'll get you there. And then we started it up and it went into reverse. So then he went out there and the car went skyward. So
I think this is this pass.
oh, it is it this pass? Oh yeah, because there's his
So,
backup girl. Okay, yeah.
yeah, that's Brooke. That's Dylan Levi's girlfriend
Oh, okay.
or wife. I don't know if they're married or not. I have no idea.
So this was the pass that he was going to evaluate it, Jimmy, the driver, to see if he could actually make a pass, and then we were going to make a whole thing about it and call him out and make a big show out of it. Yeah, that's the one.
I hit the wheelie bars 3 times.
3 times. And he came over to me and goes, well, whatever he did, it fixed the transmission, but now we got to put more weight in the car. So, yeah, so that was the plan, is that we were going to do a match race. But we didn't want anyone to get hurt.
Between Candy Cane and Casper.
Oh, I didn't actually get to see that. I only saw it from like, I was walking up to the fence because I was changing plugs and I was a little busy.
Yeah, well, let's see if I can catch up here. There's probably like a zillion freaking comments since the last time I looked at this. Yeah, I was all over doing burnouts, dry hops, murdering the tree. Yeah, it was a good weekend for me. I was happy the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, I was happy after that day. I'm like, man, I gave it everything I had.
Yep. Remember when we went to dinner? We went over there and we went to that Mexican restaurant on the way home. Man, it was just we were just so happy. We were just all tuned up, laughing. I thought that was like it was just like it was, almost.
Yeah.
Man, that was 8 years ago. Since I've actually raced this car in like a competition like that, it's been 8 years, man. It's a long
Yeah.
time.
It reminded me of the days we used to do the match racing in Southern
Yeah.
California, is what it really reminded me of.
Yeah, I love
But
that. I watched this video
Candy
and
Cane outran Casper. You haven't even watched this video. There's no way.
2 VRSs.
Yeah, there's more VRSs on the track right now than there is vehicles.
That's true, right?
Yeah.
I lost count of how many VRSs were on property because there was 4 right there. Tony's Hot Rod Garage had one in his truck, and then there was another one. Scott Speed Shop, they bought one. They had one there. Who else had one? There was another person.
Well, Andy had 2.
Yeah,
Steven Myrick had 2. Scott Speed Shop had 1.
Mm-hmm.
Tony had 1.
Okay, so maybe that was it. Oh, and Steven, you guys didn't hear this yet, but my kid is my 2 twins are so tuned up right now. They're so happy. They got a monkey bike from Steven right now. So yeah, we're trying to get it running right now. We're actually going to work on it this weekend, and we're going to make a little track in the backyard, and they wrote cash on it right now. And he goes out there and he sits on it. And he just pretends like he's riding. And I laugh because I remember doing the exact same thing when I was his age. So it's funny. It's cool. It's cool, to see that come back around,
So Buick Smith says, Dallas, did you get more than hot dogs this year? I did. Professor P fed me a lot of food.
Oh,
there's a dry hop for you.
That's actually Steven. That's right. He traded stickers for it. That's right. He got 2 Slant Daily Garage stickers for that monkey bike. So fair trade.
Oh, Danny Boyd says he's already watched this whole video. Yeah, this was the first one I think that came out. It literally was out before I got home.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So, yeah.
In the garage here. Oh, look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was because I pulled the travel limiters off. I mean, it doesn't normally do that, but I figured, okay, if I'm going home early, I'm going to give everybody a show. And then it was just like, I'm not putting them back on. It was too much fun. So, let's see.
Oh, so this is me and him. Okay. Oh, no, that's round 2.
That's round 2. Yeah, that's the duck.
Actually, that's round 3 then, because I was round 2.
Yeah, you were round 2 against the instigator.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's calling, so I'm just time to put my phone back in my pocket. Okay. Well, other than that, we've been on for an hour and 9 minutes now. If you have any tech questions, we could talk about them. But we just wanted to give you the kind of good and the bad and the ugly. Didn't you have a list of stuff, Shane?
Yeah, I was gonna, we talked about Buff Del Campo, Dylan Levi, but I really wanted to talk about was that the Iron Man. I mean, you talk about an awesome car, that Mustang, man.
Yeah, the Blue Grit Garage car.
Yeah, Blue Grit. That thing was that guy was amazing, man. And there was a couple of people that were standing next to me, like, it's not making any smoke. It's like, dude, look at how quality that car is. And he's out there giving it all. I said, that guy is a hero in my book. And my kids loved it because he's like, my kids were like, that sounds just like the Slant 6. They were like all happy because they love the car. So
he had a 246 in the thing.
Yeah, dude, that's
246
awesome.
and a 5-speed. And
it's so awesome.
It was set up for SCCA racing.
Hmm.
So he was giving it hell through the dirt, through the all. And I mean, this is like a really clean
Yeah.
65 Mustang,
Yeah.
right? Like really clean car. And he's out there tearing it up like a, but the guy that won it this year is the guy I've been rooting for since essentially the first year, the burnout contest, which was the Dirty Hippie, right?
Oh
From Bad
yeah.
Tree Productions. He does it every year and freaking blows it out. And he'll usually get upstaged by somebody um, that sits in one spot. And you're like, what in the world? Who voted for that? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the
Well, the
hippie will
Dirty
give it
Hippie was
hell.
my favorite because the kids loved it too because it's a four-door car and it's like, and they're out there he's just giving it hell, and that's like his daily driver. Some of these cars are like purpose-built burnout cars. That's a driver. Like he drives it every day. I think that was cool too.
Let's see. Blue Grit, or so Stephen Myrick says that Blue Grit said he hasn't had the valve cover off the Mustang since 1992.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he was telling me too, something like that. I don't remember the exact date, but he was saying the same thing. He's like, "Yeah, we set it up and it just
Oh, there he
just
is right
runs."
here.
Yeah.
250. It's a 256 cylinder with a top loader 4 speed. Okay, I had it wrong.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, there you go. It's a real simple machine. It's really well thought out and it works good. I mean, he was giving it hell. I was like freaking cheering for the dude. He was the only one that really showed up with. Al took his truck out there, Mopar Al. Tony from Tony's Hot Rod Garage took his truck out there. But man, I mean, comparison to the the level of nice vehicle,
Yes.
this
Like
Mustang easily
is
had
nice.
all of them covered.
Yeah, yeah. And then, he was asking me, he's like, what do you think I'm going to run? I was like, give it a few times. But, he was telling me about the engine and his gear ratio and stuff. He's like, I think you're going to run right around a 10.5. And I said, that sounds about right. That's what my Slant 6 does, when I have the slicks on it and stuff. Guess what? He ran, I think he was averaging right around 10.5. And I think he got a 10, maybe a 10.13 or a 10.30, I think. I don't remember what he said, but it was just funny. He goes, his daughter came over and goes, "You nailed it. It was right there, 10.50." And I was like, "Oh, perfect. That's awesome." So, yeah.
Yeah. Buick Smith asked, Dallas, does a 400 Buick weigh more than a 455? Same block, thicker bores. Yeah, technically, it would weigh more, but you're not talking about a considerable amount. When I had the 400 apart, I ended up miking it and then like checking the difference between the 455. I mean, you can technically do it just by the numbers that are out there posted, but virtually the block has 2 inches more cast iron metal in the deck surface. So it makes it considerably more rigid and thus heavier. But I don't know what it would weigh. You're maybe talking 8 to 10 pounds total. I don't think it'd be very much.
Oh, so there's more. Look at what John Wilburn said. So Walter kept upping his game all season long, um, accumulating in the Ironman. He made the No Name 500, then the bracket, the burnout competition in autocross style, and won the Saturday bracket. Yeah, he's a total worthy winner. Yeah, so
Yeah,
there you go.
he killed it. And the funny thing was, me and Andy, we looked at that guy on Friday night and we said, that's the Iron Man right there. Because he was taking the car, he was literally bolting slicks on, or the slicks, tires on it
Hmm.
to go do the burnout contest. And we're like, dude, this
Yeah,
guy has been in every freaking competition they have,
yeah,
right? This is your Iron Man. And he was
yeah.
the right pick. He
Yeah,
literally was. Because
agree.
right when Andy and I were talking about it, it was like, I can't think of anybody out here that could top that dude.
No.
So,
Yeah, I agreed with that one 100%.
yeah. And then, yeah, what John says, stock car, but it's a stick car. He won the bracket with a stick shift car, which is
That's awesome.
amazing. That's hard, real hard, because you're talking thousandths of a second.
Hmm.
Um,
I used to bracket race a Volkswagen, 67 Volkswagen Bug. Oh, so Blue Grit said it ran the best of 10.6.
it has a adjustable valve train from a 144 with push rods from a 427 big block. Yeah, you did a great job,
Yeah,
Walter. And that thing was spot on. I mean,
yeah, bravo.
I don't know how you could prove any easier that anybody could show up with anything and pretty much take home the no name nationals winner.
And have fun. You guys did it all. You slept right in the trailer, right through the rain and everything, and just did it on a budget and had fun. And you guys were just and everything was awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So we had a great time. That was really that. Like I said, I went there kind of expecting to get well, here's what the 28-10-5 racers call it. They're coming here to kick your puppies, right? Because they got these heavy hitters showing up, and they're just going to show up at your house and kick your puppies in the face. And that's really kind of how it felt, because I'm like, man, my junk does not run in the fours.
Yeah.
I can't compete with that. And then you come to find out, you still might have a chance, but now the
Yeah. And
secret is out. So guess what? Those guys will be doing stage 1, 2, letter E, and it won't be long until they're on the instant green.
Yeah, this car right here is exactly the setup I was going to bring last year without the master cylinder. I didn't change a thing. Literally, all I did was just make it and tune it up. So this is the car I was going to bring to 2023 No Name Nationals, and I didn't do anything other than what it is. So except for one thing I didn't. That's not true. I did change the fuel system to a dedicated fuel system. Otherwise, I'd have ran it in tandem. But for what I was going to do last year, that would have been fine. But now I realized that when I put more juice to this, I need the more fuel. The A1000 just wasn't enough to keep up
Really?
for both systems. Now it was having trouble when I was doing the flow test with the car running. It would dip. So yeah, I just don't want to
Especially
take a
under
chance.
load, it'd be terrible then.
What's that?
Under load, it would do terrible then.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was my it was just a slight dip and then it would come back up. So I didn't want to have any problems or anything. So that's why I went to dedicated system, and it was consistent. So like instead of when you turned on the fuel, when you turned on it didn't go straight to 6.5. It went 6.5, came back down to 6, and then went back up to 6.5. So I was like, yeah, that's not what I want.
James from SSR Performance says Rusty Novasat for 14 months, no passes before No Name Nationals. When I was doing a circuit with the Orska guys, there was an index class. It was like a 5, or no, what was that? 650 index, maybe? I think it was a 650 index. I used to pull my car, like I would park it behind my house, and like pine needles and stuff would fall on it, and then they would only have those races like once a month. So I remember I had towed there, and they had sat for almost a month, and I towed there, and they still had the bracket race numbers on the window from the bracket race it was in, and I literally unloaded it. I was picking pine needles off the car and like throwing them off to the side, and ran the same number that was on the window.
So awesome. So awesome. When this car was a street car, I did that. I just remember that it was the same thing. You let it sit for a month or so. He'd fire up. We go down to the track and then put a number on it, and it would literally run that number. You're just like, man, that's just
When you can set your watch behind them, that's when you know they're a good car.
Yeah.
A good setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Wilbur saying Gunslinger Graphics did them. He's talking about the shirts that said community with the check mark. It says on the front, No Name Nationals, and on the back it says like we do this for, and it has fame, money, community, and then the community is underlined or check marked. So this is a cool shirt. If you haven't seen one of them, you need to find one of those. They're limited production.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess if there's no more questions tonight, we can get this ball rolling.
Oh, sorry. More racing.
Oh, all right.
Somebody sent me a video.
Huh. Was it something better that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, no. It was it's the same video. Somebody sent me a video, and it's literally the same video that I just showed everyone.
Oh, yeah. Well, so we're an hour and 20 minutes in. We're done a little bit early, but I'm sure everybody's wiped out and just trying to get some sleep. Oh, there you go. There's the shirts.
Yep, there's the shirts. John Wilburn. We're going full John Wilburn. Oh, and Mr. John Wilburn, since we're going to do it, we always have to give an Oak Island update since they've never found anything. Facebook's going crazy because they might have found something on Oak Island. So we will see. So we do 2 first, 3 first, and 4 first, because whenever they find something, is it this, is it that, is it that? It's like an inside joke. It's funny. As Oak Island gets going again, we'll see more.
So I should just hear this. Now hear this.
Right.
Season number 10. They find something on Oak Island.
Right. They find a ring, a gold ring. Wow, they found the treasure.
Oh my God, it's over with. Let's go ahead and close up shop. We're gonna lose the house if we don't find anything. Yeah. So John's saying that those shirts are already sold out. So your limited production shirts already gone.
Yeah.
So
what you'll see for me is that coming up is that we're gonna get the monkey bike going, and we're gonna get both kids running on it. And if we can't get that engine running, good. We'll put a Predator in it and just get them running, and then you'll see Cash probably in the he can't do monkey bike, but we'll find something else. Maybe we can set up like a little track, at night, and do a flashlight start or something. You know what I mean?
well, don't forget I got one over here too.
Oh,
yeah. So
you do.
Yeah.
And you have a boy too. That's
but I put him on there already, and he's scared him to death.
Oh,
I'll have to work on him more. I'll make a couple more rounds.
My kids are like Bart Simpson and Maggie. They like stand on each other's shoulders and want to go as fast as they can go. So, yeah, they're.
Yeah, but I have let's see, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I have What If 300 coming up. I have the Easy 302 coming up. I got to get the motor and transmission out of the Lemons car, and then I'm probably, I hate to say this, like probably going to be packing up and moving. So I think that it's coming up within the next 6 months, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So we'll find out. But other than that, though.
Yeah, for me, the only thing I got coming up is I'm going to take a little break from everything, but I'm going to start on Plan Z. I'm still looking for a turbo that's kind of like a suck-through turbo, so something that's going to have a seal in it and a thrust bearing, so that way when you close the throttle plate. What's that?
301 Pontiac turbo. If you got one sitting around, Professor P needs it.
Yeah, 301 Pontiac, or even a V6 turbo of some sort, so that way I can put a carburetor on. I want it as simple as possible, and I want something I can I have a 650 VRS or whatever carburetor I can put on it, and make it as simple as possible. And I want to try to run 10s in the quarter in that car, so that should be like if I can get a 6 out of it in the 8th mile, that should put me in the 10s.
So well, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I figure if I figure 400 horse, 500 foot-pounds of torque should do it. A car that weighs 2,200 pounds, it should do that. So pretty easily.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see you guys next week. Don't forget Friday, John Wilburn's probably going to have something similar to this on the John Wilburn channel.
7 Central?
To give the rundown on the No Name Nationals 2024 from his perspective.
Yeah, I actually have a little challenge for something. Actually, John mentioned this to me. We were texting back and forth earlier. This was a No Name Nationals from my perspective and Dallas's perspective and everybody else's that we see there. And his video is going to be from his perspective, but I challenge all you guys. Why don't you guys make a video about like your experiences, or even a short about your experience and what you saw for the No Name Nationals, and post it up there on like little shorts, tag it. So that way we can kind of see how everybody else saw it. And
especially if you're if you're a newcomer, you got to experience it and you really enjoyed it. Just get it out there and put it out there and let people see it.
Yeah, we're trying to keep this event getting bigger and bigger every year. If we can make the event, go into Saturday night, that would be even better. To where we could have some night races, and then just keep putting the word out there, and just talk about how much you liked it. So yeah, keep on going.
All right, so we'll see you guys next week. So thanks for stopping by, and hit the like, and if you haven't subscribed, do that too on the way out. So we'll see you later.
All right, take it easy, guys.